So, I popped into High House Insurance to see if they could quote for my house insurance rather than using the internet. High House got a great deal. So to celebrate, I bought a posh hairdo. It made me look beautiful, gorgeous enough to become a highly paid model. I then won Celebrity Big Brother. I had an affair with an MP. Now I'm promoting a doll of me that says, "Cool blimey, you're well fit."
Happy things happen when you talk face-to-face with High House Insurance. See if we can beat your home insurance quote from the internet. Find us on the High Street, Selsey, or call 606 552.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Manhood Internet Radio. I'm Tony Weiner, your host for this show. We have another busy schedule this week and we will start in Keith's kitchen, which will give him time to get to East Wittering. While he's doing that, Alison Gaunt will give us an update on what is going on in the area. And it amazes me how many activities there are, but more later. Of course, we will have the much anticipated answers to last week's quiz. We follow this with a sneak preview of an important topic which affects each and every one of us, and also will be the subject of a workshop at the Selsey Centre. Keith will hopefully be with us from East Wittering to interview somebody about the controversial Earn the Concourse, and then he talks to one of our local entrepreneurs about her occasional cart company. Yep, you heard that right, but before we open the stable door, we pop over to Keith's kitchen to see what is on the recipe today.
Hi and welcome once again to Keith's Kitchen. We've got a couple of very nice recipes for you this week, suitable for the weather we're having at the moment, which is pretty grim, but these will go down well anyway. And the first one is beef in beer with herb dumplings. Lovely, eh? And this is what we need, and this will serve 6, so if there's only 2 of you, invite your friends around. Right, this is what we need. 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil, 2 large onions, thinly sliced, 8 carrots, sliced, 4 tablespoons of plain flour, 1 1/4 kilos of stewing steak, cut into cubes, 420 ml of stout, 2 teaspoons of muscovado sugar, 2 bay leaves, and 1 tablespoonful of chopped fresh thyme and some salt and pepper to taste. And for the herb dumplings we need 115 grams of self-raising flour, a pinch of salt, 55 grams of shredded suet, 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley, plus a bit extra to garnish, and about 4 tablespoons of water. And this is what we do. Preheat the oven to 160 degrees centigrade, that's 325 Fahrenheit or gas mark 3. Heat the oil in a flame-proof casserole. Add the onions and carrots and cook over a low heat, stirring occasionally for 5 minutes or until the onions are softened. Meanwhile, place the flour in a polythene bag and season to taste with the salt and pepper. Add the stewing steak to the bag, tie the top and shake well to coat. And do this in batches if necessary, otherwise you may not get it all coated properly. Now remove the vegetables from the casserole with a slotted spoon and stick those to one side. Add the stewing steak to the casserole in batches and cook, stirring frequently until browned all over. So once again, don't crowd the pan, put it in, stir it until it's browned all over. Return all the meat and the vegetables to the casserole and sprinkle in any remaining seasoned flour. Pour in the stout and add the sugar, the bay leaves and the thyme. Bring to the boil, cover and transfer to the preheated oven to bake for 1 3/4 hours. Now to make the herb dumplings, sift the flour and salt into a bowl. Stir in the suet and parsley and add enough water to make a soft dough. And shape this into small balls between the palm of your hands. Add to the casserole and return to the oven for 30 minutes. And remove and discard the bay leaves and serve immediately, sprinkled with the chopped parsley. And that's recipe number 1. And recipe number 2 for this week is lamb stew with chickpeas. And this will serve 4 to 6 depending on your appetite. And what we need is 6 tablespoons of olive oil, 225 grams of chorizo sausage cut into 5mm thick slices, and take the outside off that, sometimes that can be a bit chewy. 2 large onions chopped, 6 large garlic cloves crushed, 900 grams of boned leg of lamb cut into 5cm chunks, 250 ml of lamb stock or water, 125 ml of red wine, such as Rioja or Tempranillo, 2 tablespoonfuls of sherry vinegar, 800 grams of canned chopped tomatoes, 4 fresh thyme sprigs, plus a few extra just to garnish with, 2 bay leaves, half a teaspoonful of sweet Spanish paprika, 800 grams of canned chickpeas, rinsed and drained, and salt and pepper for seasoning. And this is what we do. Preheat the oven to 160 degrees centigrade, that's 325 Fahrenheit, gas mark 3. Heat 4 tablespoonfuls of the oil in a large heavy-based flameproof casserole over a medium-high heat. Reduce the heat, add the chorizo and fry for 1 minute. And set that to one side, add the onions to the casserole and fry for 2 minutes, and then add the garlic and continue frying for a further 3 minutes, or until the onions are soft but not brown. Now remove from the casserole and set those to one side. Heat the remaining 2 tablespoonfuls of oil in the casserole. Add the lamb cubes in a single layer without overcrowding the casserole and fry until browned on each side. Now work in batches if necessary to make sure you get them done properly. Return the onion mixture to the casserole with all the lamb. Stir in the stock, wine, vinegar, tomatoes with the juices, and salt and pepper to taste. Bring to the boil, scrape any glazed bits from the base of the casserole. Reduce the heat and stir in the thyme, the bay leaves and the paprika. Transfer that to the preheated oven and cook covered for 40 to 45 minutes until the lamb is tender. Now stir in the chickpeas and return to the oven uncovered for 10 minutes or until they're heated through and the juices are reduced. And taste and adjust that seasoning. You can always add a bit more if you'd like to. And then serve that garnished with thyme sprigs. And that's another lovely tasty dish, lamb stew with chickpeas. And that's it for this week.
Whoops, sorry for the delay, drawling over the recipes. Alison is also a bit later this week, but she's fired up and to tell us what's on in the area.
Hello there, and welcome once again to our weekly look at what's going on in Selsey and wider afield on the peninsula. First of all, let's have a look round the town for the week. On Wednesday the 1st of February between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, it will be time for the Crafty Natter Club. They meet at the Methodist Church Hall. If you're interested in finding out more, why not speak to Lisa? Her number is 601 032. Then on Thursday the 2nd, we have a book lovers meeting between 10:30 and 11:30. That will take place at the library, as you might expect, and they're also offering a cup of tea or coffee, so why not go along and have a look at latest books in the library. Also on Thursday, the Voluntary Hearing Aid Unit will have its monthly meeting between 2 and 4 at the Medical Centre. Then in the evening it will be time for the Seal Island WI at the Selsey Centre, and also in the evening there's the weekly whist drive at Selsey Club. On Friday the 3rd it's time for the Darby and Joan Club at St Peter's Church Hall between 2 and 4. On Saturday the 4th we have a jumble sale. That will take place at the Methodist Church Hall. There's ample parking behind the church at the fire station, and that's in aid of the Selsey Cancer Relief Fund. Also on Saturday we have the regular Venture Bus garage sale between 9 and 12, and of course the Scouts charity shop between 10 and 12, so there should be lots of bargains on offer on Saturday. On Tuesday the 7th of February, the carers will be having their weekly coffee morning at 10:30 in the morning. They do that at 109 High Street at their office. And then in the afternoon between 2:30 and 4:30, it's time for the Writers' Circle, rather than the Readers' Circle at the library. They meet at the Selsey Club on Cox's Road. They meet every first Tuesday of the month. If you want to find out a little bit more about that meeting, speak to Pat Reed on 601 550. And then on Wednesday the 8th of February, there's a talk, Freedom at the End of Life. That's a talk and a workshop to be held at the Selsey Centre between 2 and 5. I'll have a few more details about that next week. Let's move across now to the rest of the peninsula, over towards the Witterings and Bracklesham. We've got a rundown here of everything that happens on a regular basis. So on Wednesdays, it's table tennis. Drop in and adults play at the barn between 10 and 12. Also at Bracklesham Barn, CBT motorcycle training takes place between 9 and 11. You do have to pre-book for that one. Then later on, belly dancing with Step Inside between 1 and 2. And Zumba with Louise meets between 6:30 and 7:30. Over at the Royal British Legion, it's time for line dancing on a Wednesday between 7 and 9, and all were made very welcome at that. On Thursdays, it's the Busy Bugs Toddler Gym at the barn between 9:15 and 12:15. Stitch and Yarn meets at the Medical Centre between 10:30 and 12:30, and also Knit and Natter at East Wittering Library between 11 and 12:30. The Wittering's Master Art Group holds their session between 10 and 12 at Wittering Memorial Hall, and at East Wittering Village Hall between 2 and 3 o'clock there's an Keep Fit exercise class. The West Wittering Short Mat Bowls meet at West Wittering Memorial Hall between 10 and 12, and another session in the afternoon between 2 and 4. If you're interested in short mat bowls, why not give Chris a ring on 07788 111 325. I'll repeat that number, 07788 111 325. In the evenings, there's a mixed ability Pilates group at East Wittering Village Hall between 6 and 7 in the evening. And then there's also private ballroom and Latin at East Wittering Village Hall. You do need to book for that. You need to contact www.strictlydancinguk.co.uk. Junior Youth Club meets from 5 until 6:30 at the Youth Centre. That's for ages 8 to 12. And then for the slightly older ones, 12 to 17, they're the seniors. They meet from 6:30 until 8:30. And don't forget, at Pond Barn, it's open mic night every Thursday at 8 o'clock. On Friday, there's time for more Pilates at Bracklesham Barn between 9:30 and 10:30, and then in the afternoon, short mat bowls again between 2 and 4. Coastliners line dancing takes place at East Wittering Village Hall between 2 and 5, and it's the UK Film Academy at the barn between 5 and 9. At Pond Barn, it's jukebox nights on a Friday from 7 until midnight. And there's private ballroom and Latin again at East Wittering Village Hall, again 7 o'clock. Just to remind you of that website address, www.strictlydancinguk.co.uk. That's for private ballroom and Latin. Each Sunday, the Windrush Church have their regular meeting at Bracklesham Barn between 10:30 and 12:45. And then in the evenings, there's modern jive dancing between 7:30 and 9 at East Wittering Village Hall. Don't forget as well, it's the regular Pond Barn quiz night beginning at 8 o'clock. Then on Mondays, it's time for the Little Ducklings Mother and Toddler Group at Bracklesham Barn between 9:30 and 11:30. And running alongside that, short mat bowls between 10:30 and 1. Weight Watchers will take place at 5:30 on Monday at East Wittering Village Hall. And then there's line dancing between 7 and 10, no doubt also aimed at helping you lose weight. That's again at East Wittering Village Hall. There's yoga with Elaine at Bracklesham Barn between 7 and 8:30 in the evening, and ARO Ladies Beginner Kickboxing with Verity. She does that at Bracklesham Barn between 7:30 and 8:30 in the evening. On Tuesdays, we have the Little Explorers Play and Learn Together at the barn between 9:30 and 11. And there's meet and greet as usual at West Wittering Memorial Hall. They meet on Tuesdays for coffee, games, homemade soup and a roll between 10:15 and 1 o'clock. Elaine is doing yoga at Bracklesham Barn between 10 and 11 on Tuesday. And then in the afternoon at East Wittering Village Hall, there's a Keep Fit exercise class. That is between 2 and 3 in the afternoon. Later in the afternoon over at Bracklesham Barn, Tai Chi will be taking place between 4 and 5. And then in the evening, it'll be the Community Pop Choir at West Wittering Memorial Hall between 7 and 9. And also in the evening at Bracklesham Barn, it will be the Badminton Club between 7:30 and 9:30. And there's free pool at Pond Barn on a Tuesday. Now let's have a look at the all-important weather for the forthcoming week. Well, the temperatures are going to stay pretty steady at 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's beginning on Wednesday the 1st, light cloud cover, 12 mile an hour wind, south-westerly. On Thursday the 2nd of February, same sort of temperatures, but the wind speed is going to pick up and you'll find that a lot faster for the rest of the week. So a 21 mile an hour wind, light rain, wind direction south-southeasterly. On Friday the 3rd of February we can expect heavy rain showers, a stronger wind, 23 miles an hour this time, a south-southwesterly. On Saturday the 4th, heavy rain showers again, higher wind speed, 28 miles an hour, so you have been warned, that will be a south-southwesterly. On Sunday the 5th, same sort of temperatures, again 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. This time light cloud, slightly less windy, 19 miles an hour, southwesterly. On Monday the 6th, lower temperature, 9 degrees Celsius, 48 degrees Fahrenheit. Light rain on Monday, 20 mile an hour, west-southwesterly wind. And then on Tuesday, 9 degrees again, 48 degrees Fahrenheit, light cloud, 17 miles an hour, southwesterly wind. Let's have a look at the tide table in case you do venture out. On Wednesday the 1st, we can expect a high at 1:45 and a low at 7:50. Moving, of course, throughout the week, ending on Tuesday the 7th with a low at 5 to 8 in the morning and a high at 10 to 2 in the afternoon. So that's about it for the week. Plenty to be getting on with then. Hope you enjoy yourself and I'll speak to you again next week. Bye for now.
Thanks, Alison. And now Keith reveals all, as it were.
And the answers to last week's quiz were: of the 26 men who have won the Olympic 100 metres in athletics, 15 have shared the same nationality. What nationality was that? Well, it was, of course, American. Who, along with Bill Oddie, co-presented the BBC's Autumn Watch? That was Kate Humble. What was the name of William Wordsworth's Lake District home? That was Dove Cottage. Which gourd-like squash associated with Halloween is used to make lanterns? That was pumpkin. And finally, which glam rock band of the 70s was best known for the song Tiger Feet? And that was Mud. And the link is pies. They're all pies. Thank you for that, Kevin.
Thank you. Now we go back to Keith, who is talking to Gail Palmer about something which affects us all.
My next guest in the studio today is Gail Palmer. And Gail's from Great Guidelines for Later Life, and she's going to be putting us wise on things that we should sort out when you get to my sort of age. Good morning, Gail.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me. So, my project started as quite a small project, really. I was trying to help my mum get things organised before she died. Unfortunately, she died last year, and we'd managed to help quite considerably, really. But what I got to see was she didn't live very locally to me, and I could see there was an awful lot of stuff that was going to be coming my way unless I did something about it. Not being particularly local, I think that is a really common occurrence these days. You know, families don't live in the same village or the same town. They're
absolutely
really separated out, and it's really hard to know how to help your parents and your loved ones if you're far away, and often they also don't want to ask or know how to ask or know what help that they need to
Indeed,
have.
I've just been through it with my dad. I lost my dad in August.
Yeah.
The same thing, you know.
It's difficult.
At some stage you've got to ask that question. Have you done this?
Yes.
Have you got this sorted out?
Yeah.
Have you organised this? You know, what would you like? What music would you like? Not an
Absolutely.
easy question to ask.
No.
When you know that somebody's on their way out,
Yeah.
and you've got to ask the question. So I've been there, and you just think that had he been a little bit wiser,
Yes.
then it might have been a bit easier.
Absolutely. Well, what I got to see was it was a challenge, and particularly when you're looking at your life and you're wanting to sort all sorts of aspects of your life out, and you might be 60 or 70 or 80 or 90, whatever, it's quite an overwhelming amount quite often. And why it's so overwhelming is there's a lot of emotional attachment as well as physical attachment. There's stuff. The stuff in many ways can be easier, but the emotional side and what you really want can be difficult for people to identify and also then talk about or discuss. So I started creating workbooks and worksheets to help people go through things one question at a time. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One mouthful at a time. So you just go through it very simply, very logically, and the whole thing starts coming up into a whole picture. And each time you can have a look at it, you have a difficult question come up, and it could be something really simple that you're very emotionally attached to, like you don't want to get rid of your teddy bear. It could be something that's much more life changing. And you have to work through it emotionally and mentally, as well as letting things go. You know, getting older is a whole series of little deaths and bereavements. That might be accepting that you can no longer run for the bus 200 yards away at top speed. Frankly, I can't do that either. I think I've given that one up some time ago. But it could also be, all sorts of things. It could be trying to work out what you want to have for your funeral. It could be, you can no longer safely see driving at night because your eyes get dazzled. And it takes adjusting. And as you get older, it is more difficult to adjust because you have a lifetime of being able to do something. And as human beings, we're simply not set up to letting things go and accepting that they are the way that they are. It's a human flaw. And we all have it.
It is, because I find that we don't ask the questions that need asking. We think we assume sometimes that something's going to happen. We never ask the question.
And we often make those assumptions for ourselves, in the sense that we think we've told someone something, and we haven't. We've made it up in our own head. We truly believe that we've done X, Y, and Z. You know, there might be, well, of course I've just fed the cat, just like the cat's looking at you 3 days later going, I'm really, really, really hungry now. So, maybe I haven't. There aren't any cat tins in the bin. And it's part of being human. But what I've created is I've created courses to try and help people work through this stuff. One of the courses is called Freedom at the End of Life. And it looks at some of the biggest taboos we have about getting older. So it looks about life planning, death itself. And then it looks at ways that you can help either your family or yourself, dealing with how you want to manage your funeral and a memorial or what have you. And also how to help people through the bereavement and grief that then happens afterwards. And actually, if it's yourself who's looking at that, accepting that you are mortal, which, for some people that's quite acceptable, and for others it's utterly terrifying. And the one aspect of getting older is that the less you face up to things and deal with stuff, the bigger they become, the more you think about it.
Yes, indeed.
One of the challenges of getting older is you have more time on your hands, so you have more time to think. 4 walls are not a great way of dealing with things because they don't change. So I created this course, Freedom at the End of Life, to help people go through all of those. And it's for seniors and for their families. So, some people no longer have the facility to be able to answer a lot of those questions for themselves, but it's helpful having a guideline for the family. I'm in my 40s, and before I really started researching this a couple of years ago, I really wouldn't have had an idea, a clue how to manage someone dying and how to manage funeral and what have you. Now I'm a bit of an expert because my mum died abroad, so we had to bring her back, and so I know an awful lot more about it now than probably most people would even have to consider.
And there is an awful lot to know, is there not?
And there is a lot to know, but it's not necessarily difficult. And there are people who can help. One of the reasons for creating the courses I have. In my other life, as it were, in my other hat, I'm an osteopath, and I think very holistically. So I look at people's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, how they live, their lifestyle, and what they want to do in life. And what I could see as people were getting older was there was no structure for successfully getting older. No one tells you how to put your life in order, how to create a direction, how to create a new future which has very different expectations than perhaps your life you've had up until now. You know, as a child, you go to school, that's kind of laid out for you. You go to university, maybe you get a job, you do your 2.4 children, having got married, and it's all kind of quite structured and ordered. As you approach your later years, and it may not be the later years for everyone. If you have cancer early, you know, you may be approaching that in your young years, which is even more tragic. Yes. You know, I have patients whose children currently have cancer and they will be dying before their parents. And on every level, that is wrong. But we all have to deal with that as well.
Yes.
And the impact that it has on your family and your friends is enormous. So I started creating this so that you could get things organised, and the main aim was so that you had peace of mind and tranquility, and you knew that there wasn't anything else that you needed to take care of, look after, sort out, have conversations about, or what have you. Because then, until you have cleared the past, you can't move forward into a future free and with full vitality and self-expression. Does that make sense? For most people who are getting older, and I'm not putting an age on it because I have 20-year-olds who could frankly qualify as 80-year-olds, and I have 100-year-olds who frankly could qualify as teenagers. So the actual age is not the restricting part. But as you get older, most people don't want to leave stuff for their families to have to sort out unnecessarily. They don't want to leave a complete mess. Some do, and it's mainly because they're so terrified of dealing with their own mortality and dealing with their stuff that they don't even start. So they say that they don't care. Actually, they genuinely do, but they're just too scared and also aren't aware of what they can do for themselves. That's kind of why the
I'm
course
sure
was there.
If they were to fully understand what they were leaving behind for their, their offspring to sort out, they might want to do a bit more.
Once you've kind of had to deal with someone's estate and the probate and dealing with houses and possessions and you begin to realise that actually minimalism has a really valid point.
Just to put it in perspective, my father died in August, and probate's only just been sorted out now, but it's not finished yet. And there was, and even though he thought that he'd
done it all, I've done it all. It's all organised.
Exactly.
Yep.
Even though he thought he'd sorted it all out, there was just so much to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And until you start writing it down and having a structure to follow and checklists and what have you, which I've created, it's almost impossible to know, because the people who have the information, it's difficult to get hold of the information, and it's lots of different people have the information. So it's not just a one-stop shop. The solicitor has a bit, the accountant has a bit, the funeral director has a bit. It's all bitty.
You're just bringing all these nightmares back to me.
Crazy. So, as part of Great Guidelines for Later Life, I really wanted to help people as much as I could. And the first thing is to realise that it's possible to get things sorted. There are ways to do it, but you need to be willing to find out. And so I've... on top of the courses, I've been creating workshops that people can come along to, and the latest one, which is happening, is on Wednesday the 8th of February, so coming up pretty soon. It's down at the Selsey Centre. It's from 2 until 5 in the afternoon, and I've gathered together various professionals who are able to help. So There's myself as great guidelines for later life. There's a counsellor come psychotherapist. There's a funeral director. There's an accountant. There's an independent financial advisor. There's a solicitor. And we're all going to be doing little short presentations. But there will also be opportunity for people to talk one-to-one to us, obviously ask lots of questions, because everyone starts at it from a different place. You know, you may think that you've done your will, and you may have done your will, but that doesn't mean to say that your house is tidy. That doesn't mean to say that your head is in a good space. You may not have done your will. You may not even realise that it's actually incredibly important, but you're completely confused as to how to manage going forward nursing homes or retirement homes or where to live. Things like powers of attorney. Really important if there's any possibility of being ill in your very latter moments, really. But, you know, anyone can have an accident. You know, one of my best friends had an accident in the summer, fell awkwardly on a boat and ruptured a spleen. Nearly died. Next time I managed to catch up with her, she was in intensive care in Southampton General. Mm. And, you know, she was in her 50s.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens, it's being prepared for the future. You might not need to have that organised as it turns out, but you don't know.
Well, the thing is, you may not need the information for another 20, 30 years.
Absolutely. But you know you've got it, and your family know where it is. And that makes a huge difference to how important. Everyone manages.
That is so important.
So if you're available, Wednesday, 8th of February, 2 till 5, the Selsey Centre. We look forward to seeing you there. Come in for a cup of tea.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Gail. Bye.
Thank you, Gail. That will be a very important workshop, so remember to make a note in your diary, the Selsey Centre, Wednesday the 8th of February, 2 till 5. Now then, something which has been a bit quiet lately. Keith talks to Teresa about the Earnley Concourse.
Now with me now, I've got Teresa White, and Teresa's going to be talking about Earnley Concourse, which is not far from where you live, I understand.
No, it's just round the corner. And another little soapbox subject, of which I have many. Why is it empty for most of the year? There are loads of people in the community who could use that. There's a swimming pool in there, there's a gym, there's kitchens, there's bedrooms with bunk beds. I don't know what else is in there, probably loads of things that I don't even know about. I cannot understand why it's only used for a few weeks through the year for some school students who come down there. It's usually Italians or French children that come down by the busload. And you always know when they're there because of the noise, which is fine. You know, they're youngsters. But it's just empty. The alarm goes off and it's off for days at a time, and we have to get people to come out and turn it off. There is a caretaker. It has been vandalised.
Do we know who owns it?
I do. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's a private concern with about 4 different sets of people that own it.
Oh, right. Okay.
But I mean, the RSPB who own Medmary Way down there now, which is just along the side of it, why don't they use it they could do bird spotting, twitching holidays or something like this. There's thousands of things you could use it for. I, for one, would use the swimming pool, because I'm always looking, with the fibromyalgia, I'm always looking for a warm swimming pool to swim in. And I either have to pay a lot of money to go down to the place in West Wittering, the private place down there, or I have to go all the way into Chichester. Well, by the time I get to Chichester, my legs have cramped, I'm in such a bad mood with all the traffic and all the idiots on the road, and by the time I come back again, it's really not worth it. So I'm looking for somewhere local, and I know loads of other people that are. This is an elderly community down here, and they could all do with using a nice warm swimming pool, tea room on the side. they can make a bit of money, and it's not just standing there empty.
Yeah, it just strikes me as strange that if it's owned privately, that the people that own it don't want to actually make use of it and earn money from it.
Yeah.
This was the place where the immigrant going at one time, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
That's right. Yeah, it was used for holding immigrants, or whether
it was going to be.
Yeah.
We all campaigned that didn't happen, because to put 300 men from multiracial areas in there, and
in the middle of nowhere,
and just let them loose, and the promise was they'd only be there a few weeks. Well, we all know what politicians' promises are like.
I really don't know what you mean. I couldn't possibly comment on that.
And as I talked to a lot of women in the local community, and they were all petrified of what was going to happen, because they can. I
bet some of them were thinking this could be good. Some of these nice young European lads coming in here.
No, not the way they treat their women. Thank you very much. No. Bad enough with the local lads without.
That, of course, is always a problem when you get a situation like that where you've got. Doesn't need to be foreigners.
No.
It could be from Yorkshire.
Groups
that's the same thing as being foreign, I suppose.
Men, yeah.
But they could be from anywhere and be moved into an area.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a common enemy.
Yeah.
And especially of the local youth.
Yeah.
So it's likely to lead to trouble. But we get off the subject a little bit there, because what we wanted to talk about was, how can it be used? How can it be best used to suit the community?
Yeah.
And why is it not being used?
I know they've got function rooms down there that could be used. Everybody around here is always asking for function rooms. You yourselves have been looking for a small room to put your kit in. I know they've got rooms down there. I think they're being rather secretive about what the facilities they have got down there, because I think if everybody really realised, they'd be up in arms. That it can just, it's just a waste. Yeah, definitely.
You don't think perhaps it's one of these situations where it's going to be allowed to fall into disrepair and then eventually be knocked down and used for housing or something?
Probably. Perhaps that's the long-term plan.
I don't really know the sort of story of the area, but it's usually what happens, isn't it?
Well, considering that land at Medmery Way was sold 15 years ago, before the public even had a slightest inkling that was going to be changed over, which was a good thing. I mean, it was changed over to be the bird sanctuary, and that's lovely, but it could just as easily have been changed over to building land for houses, and we wouldn't have known about it. These things all happen very much behind closed doors, and us, the mere public, don't know a thing.
Well, I'm firmly convinced that the local councils won't be happy until we're all stood shoulder to shoulder on the Manhood Peninsula.
Yeah.
Anybody know, does anybody know what's happening with the holiday camp? That's closed down now at Bracklesham.
Well, that's definitely going to be houses along there. Yeah.
You're not going to use that as the immigrant centre?
Maybe, but as the last thing we heard was it was going to be houses.
Oh, right.
But, I mean, how much more are they going to build on here? And where does all this, when the water falls, no wonder we flood, because all it's falling on is concrete. It's got nowhere to go.
That's right.
They sold off the little place that used to have the gypsies on it, and they used to come down once a year with their fun fair opposite what used to be Boughton's. That's all sold off. That's all houses now. Not have they just built on that bit. They built further back and back and back. Now that's all going to join up with the field opposite the thatch. That's all going to be built on. And that's a beautiful open space. Why? And down at Ernley, of course, the field, as you go down Clappers Lane, the field to the right-hand side, they've already started building the houses down there. The people along there are devastated. They've lived their donkey's years, and instead of having a lovely view now, they're going to have loads and loads of houses.
Well, I'm afraid that's the same, nationwide.
It is.
I know some friends of mine live in Windsor, and all of a sudden, the edge of the countryside, as it were, where, once you go past that little bit, you're out in open country. They're building 650 houses up there.
Ouch.
Which is, it's going to expand the area far too much.
Mm.
But it happens, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
With all these houses being built on Selsey, Bracklesham and around, how is everybody going to go off the Manhood Peninsula?
Yeah.
If they don't reconsider this northern route for the traffic,
yeah.
I mean, it's all going to come along the M20,
Yeah.
M27.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
And also the infrastructure's not there. You know, I mean, you can't get an appointment at the doctor's now. You have to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you see, if you talk to the doctors, and we did this in Selsey and said, look, you can't get an appointment for a couple of weeks, and they'll say, oh, well, you need to phone up in the morning. If you phone up in the morning, you get an appointment. Well, that ain't the case.
No.
But they tell us that they can handle an increase in the amount of people they've got, or amount of patients that they take on, and they say it's not a problem. In the next breath, of course, they tell us that they can't keep doctors, they can't get doctors to come and work in Selsey, and they can't keep them if they get them.
Yeah.
They're almost bordering on politicians, them doctors.
Yeah.
Well, not the doctors, it's the practice managers that...
And of course, you're only allowed 8 minutes with a doctor now. So, you know, if I rarely go to the doctors, but when I do, I went last week, and I said to him, I suppose I've had me 8 minutes because I needed something else checked, and he said, well, I'm sorry, you'll have to make another appointment.
Which is ridiculous, really. I mean, while you're there, they might as well say, as I'm coming for so-and-so, oh, while I'm here, can I...
Yeah.
No, take a minute or two. Booking another appointment is more time consuming for both the receptionist.
I've had that with the doctor in Selsey, and I said, oh, well, while I'm here, can you... you need to make another appointment. If I could have got another appointment, I'd have took the bugger and I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
I mean, they just... I don't know.
No,
we don't know what the answers are, but
we don't.
But
I mean,
we can
there's
certainly
also
pose the questions.
the schools to consider. I mean, I don't have that problem now. I haven't got any young children, but there's schools. There's churches. If you go to church, I mean, I can't ever see them being overflowed, but I mean, you never know. Certainly, certain denominations haven't got an outlet if they want to go. And dentists. I mean, there's one dentist down there. You try getting an appointment down there, and they're nearly all private anyway. So you have to pay through the nose, £300 for an extraction. It's ridiculous money.
Yes, I don't... Well, I mean, I've got a dentist in Selsey I use twice a year. Check up, that's it,
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've not had to have any work done. But it's private. I mean, you've got to pay DEM plan or whatever it is. I don't know. But it costs you £200 a year to be in that.
Yeah.
Well, if like me, you just go in there and you're in there for 5 minutes while he checks your teeth and says fine, that's about £100 for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
That's not
it ain't
going.
cheap, is it? Good work if you can get it.
Yeah.
And I have to be very careful what I say here. But, anyway, we seem to have put the world to rights on the only centre.
Yes.
It would be interesting to see if we can find out who owns it or what their intentions are for it.
Yeah.
But,
Hopefully they'll listen to this and come along and tell us.
that'd be nice.
Hopefully. But
I shall do some more digging.
Yes. Well, if there's anybody who can do it, we'll leave it with you then, Teresa. Thanks once again. Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you. So, Keith, what is the Occasional Cart Company?
Right, I have with me now a young lady who tells me that when she's made her fortune, she's going to look like Angelina Jolie. Well, whether you think that's a good thing or not is entirely up to you. But this young lady already got a successful business in East Wittering, and it's called Giggle Whiz. And she started up another business called the Occasional Cart Company. So, if you want an occasional cart, that's she's the person to go to. But she's going to explain what kind of carts. Good morning, Gemma.
Good morning.
Now, Occasional Cart Company, tell us more, please.
The Occasional Cart Company is a bespoke cart company that offers sweet carts, cheese carts, Prosecco and champagne carts.
Lovely.
Or carts of your choosing, so we can use it as the centrepiece for wedding cakes with all little cupcakes round them. So really, it's down to you what you want to put on them. We hire them out for 4 hours, so it's down to you what you want. We have a lot of different ideas. You can have a champagne and candy floss cart, which are really popular. We colour coordinate the candy floss to your event, and then we top the champagne with the candy floss, and then as you drink, the candy floss drops into the champagne, changing the colour. So it's all very clever, very scientific.
Yes, seems a waste of good champagne to me, but there you go.
No,
but I'm
people
sure
like
it's very.
it.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, I mean it's a novel idea, and there's no reason why people wouldn't like it. You know, it's something unusual and something different, certainly. How about a seafood cart? Cockles and mussels. I don't eat any of that, so
we have got a seafood cart. We are just refining it at the moment because obviously with seafood, you have to make sure it's refrigerated. Most weddings are in the summer. You've got the chance. Well, you hope you've got the chance of hot weather. So we're just really working out the best way to make the carts look beautiful, but be able to have all the refrigeration, ice blocks, etc. on them.
There's a lot more to it than actually.
Oh, there's a lot more
springs to mind first off. So I can't get a jellied eel cart from you then.
You can, but we've just got to bring a refrigerator with us. So
okay. Now, how long have you been running this business?
2 weeks.
Oh, as long as that.
Oh, as long as that, yeah.
So at the moment, it's still very successful.
Oh, extremely successful.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
We've done it. We've had the carts a while, and I've done family events, things like that, just really to work out the look, how we want it, and we're not like the normal candy cart companies that you can get on Facebook. The carts are really high quality. They're not collapsible. We have to put them together for you. That all comes in the price, and they look fantastic. We can light them up, we can decorate them, and they look amazing.
I'm sure they do, because the one thing I do know from speaking to you in the past about your other business was that you never do anything by halves.
No.
You research everything in depth, and you do your homework, which is probably why you're making a success of the businesses, where other people are perhaps not. So I'm sure you've done your research, and I'm sure that anybody that orders a cart from you will not regret it.
No.
But now, what sort of money are we talking about? I know it's very difficult to put a price on something like that.
It is really hard.
Because it's tailor-made.
Because, again, that's the difference with us to other companies. A lot of the companies just have 8 suites and decorations is a certain price. They start off a basic hiring of the cart without any suites or decorations or anything. It's £50. So you can take the cart, we come, we put it up, you can do what you want, and then we just come and take it away. But we can go up
and cart it away?
Yeah, we cart it away. Sorry. But we also can go as expensive as you want to go as well. Like the Prosecco cart, you're looking at about £250, but that is all the glasses, all the bottles of Prosecco, the cart, 4 hours of someone serving it for you, and all the decorations.
Sounds very reasonable to me to have a cart full of Prosecco at your disposal for 4 hours for 250 quid. Sounds very reasonable.
Yeah, and we're looking to do hen nights. We've also got a cocktail cart as well, which you hire it for a hen night. We can come in, we have a cocktail server who'll make the cocktails for you. You can have any cocktails you want, and they show you how to make them at the same time. So
great stuff. Well, this all sounds rather wonderful to me.
Oh, and we are also hiring at the moment for Disney princess lookalikes, because we're doing children's parties where we are...
Not with Prosecco, I hope.
No, not with Prosecco. The mums and dads are the Prosecco.
Oh, right.
But no, we're hiring out Disney princesses, Paw Patrol. Your listeners will know what that is. And they come...
And I might not.
I don't think... Do you know what Paw Patrol is?
No.
No, okay. It's a cartoon on children's television. We're hiring...
I'm not quite old enough to be watching that again.
No.
Children's TV. That'll come soon.
But no, we can do Disney-themed parties where you get a Disney princess with your cart. She'll dish the sweets out for the children. So it's all very exciting.
Yes, well, it sounds like it. And I'm trying to... I know you're always looking for a new venture, a new business to branch off into. Mm-hmm. And you've Still going to retain Giggle Whiz?
Still retaining the shop. Yeah, that's going from strength to strength as well. Just about to launch our new website, which will have an online store as well. So yeah, it's all going well at the moment.
People can find that where at
www.gigglewiz.com.
Oh, that's easy enough. Even I could probably remember that.
Yeah, so it's all going really well.
And the carts? Occasional carts? That might be more difficult to say.
Website pending, but it will be occasionalcarts.com.
Okay.
So,
well, not too bad then.
No. No, we haven't gone theoccasionalcartcompany.com. But no, we're hoping it'll be a success. We're looking forward to it.
Well,
and
I'm sure it will.
We also do basic catering as well. So we can cater for weddings, funerals, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, christenings, holy communions.
Pretty much anything.
Pretty much anything.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Well, as usual, as I say, you always do your homework. You always research it.
Yeah.
And you always get yourself fully trained into...
Yeah, and I'm really lucky. I've got my mum, who is a long-term caterer, who's worked for the Met Police, worked for the Royal Family, so...
And they're all still alive.
They're all still going, so yeah.
Can't be bad.
Exactly.
Well, I wish you well. I'm sure we all wish you well with it.
Thank you.
And we'll be keeping an eye on it to see how it's going, and we'll be in touch again, of course, to get you in. That's providing, of course, when you've made all those fortunes and you look like Angelina Jolie or whatever her name is, that you want to come in and talk to us again. You might have to send...
I won't forget you.
Your agent or your...
No, I'll never forget you. I'll never forget you, don't worry.
But anyway, it's been, as always, Gemma, it's been great to talk to you.
Thank you.
And we wish you well.
Thank you.
For the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye for now.
An interesting concept, and good luck with the business. Okay then, with that we've come to the end of the show, so it just remains for me to thank all our contributors, including Local Life magazine, our sound editor John Mullett, our presenters Alison and Keith, not forgetting of course our producer John Fletcher. So it's goodbye from me, Tony Wiener, until next time, bye.